Propane tanks and aircraft aren't the only thing being lit up here at the Lewis F. Garland Fire Academy, but passion in the students' eyes as they learn to work as a unit and conquer tasks to becoming the nation's first responders. Sergeant Baker tells me that a lot of people who have their regular driver's license think that it's going to be easy to get a CDL. However, that's not quite the case. The Clean Rivers program across the state of Texas says that rivers must maintain a certain standard of quality. I spoke with the Upper Colorado River Authority, who manages the rivers in and around the Concho Valley, about what those standards of quality are. We can see that one of the races is about to start. They're about to do another lap. Tell us how this all came together 11 years ago. We're joining you once again from the Ed B. Keys building, which is your election headquarters for the midterms of 2022. All the votes have come in, the polls are closed, and election workers are working hard at counting up those votes. We're here at HEB off Sherwood Way in 2288. We're still racing. We've got about just about an hour left of our KCN Cares food drive. Where behind me, through these doors, the NAACP is putting on a living history program and dinner in honor of the National Buffalo Soldier Day, which was yesterday. Many New Year's resolutions involve the gym in some aspect, whether it's losing a few pounds or putting on a couple pounds of muscle. But how do you know when too much is too much? This will allow Tom Green County to move inmates to other facilities, as well as help hold inmates for partnering counties. Tuesday, we can see that there's a cold front coming in over the evening hours and pushing us toward Wednesday, having a little bit of a cold front there with some potential for isolated showers. Well, we've got some high school hoop action that's been rescheduled and moved around due to that cold weather coming in. Here at Goodfellow Air Force Base, the action starts early as students suit up and learn what it takes to become a Department of Defense firefighter.
The Fire Academy was moved here to Goodfellow Air Force Base in the early 1990s, I believe in 1994. And we moved from Chanute Air Force Base, and at that time it was a Air Force only school. When they moved here to Goodfellow, we took in all the joint services.
The Department of Defense Fire Academy is a 68-day training course that is split into 5 blocks. Block 1, Emergency Medical Responder.
Day 1 is child, infant, and adult CPR, and then there's 7 days of academic instruction to go over your National Registry Emergency Medical Responder material. That is typically covered in a semester course at a community college. We cover it in 7 days. There's a psychomotor evaluation day, and then the Pearson VUE test to get your National Registry certification.
In the Academy, students utilize high-end tools to understand EMR materials and practice to excel in the registry exam. One of the tools they use, they've given the name Harold.
So this is my friend Harold.
My name's Harold.
Harold, along with other members of the dummy community, is used as a real person with ailments for students to tend to.
We have our lung mannequins where they have to show us how to give respirations. We have our CPR mannequins that light up and show oxygenated blood going all the way to the brain, and they have to use that to show the skills of using CPR. We also have backboards, we have splints. We teach them all the basics when it comes to medical.
The numerous tools used in the EMR block simulate real-world calls that the students may receive as firefighters.
From somebody being unresponsive to having to treat them for CPR, or maybe somebody got into a car accident and we have to treat them, trauma bleeding, anything like that, we would put a bandage over it.
Being a fighter is difficult. Not only is it physically challenging, but mentally as well, as you work your way through uncomfortable scenarios such as being inside a small tunnel or being blindfolded and searching through a building.
It goes over your foundational firefighting skills that you need for success.
In fundamentals, students learn how to properly don their gear, use tools like ladders, axes, and ropes, and learn techniques in victim removal, which students and instructors alike say can be the most difficult part.
It's one thing to witness it, but then once you put the gear on and do it, it's a little more intense than you originally thought.
So that's what we did. Strapped with an armband to monitor my vitals, I geared up and attempted dummy drags. And although at first it was easy, I soon realized just how quickly I can tire out. Well, that was definitely probably the most difficult thing I think I've ever experienced. We were tracking the heart rate. I was at 194 for the longest time. It was something definitely not for the faint of heart. It's definitely something you want to train for sure.
Once you really get down to it, just got to push yourself. You know, if other people past you've done it, people smaller than you, bigger than you, faster than you can do it, slower than you can do it. You just got to, you know, focus on yourself and just push through.
The final test of the fundamentals block is search and rescue, where students are partnered in teams of 2, blindfolded, and tasked with finding a downed victim in a building.
This block is very, very physically demanding, and if you really and truly want to be here, it's going to show in the objectives. If you really want to be here, you're going to work really hard, you're going to get the objective done, and you can move on.
Nathan Mayer, KLST News.
One of the most important pieces of equipment when it comes to riding on your horse. Dedication, durability, and attention to detail. Those are the three things that goes into a Jay's saddle. Today we're here at Jay's Saddlery learning what it takes to make a one-of-a-kind saddle.
In the 30 years of building saddles, I probably have made probably 9,000 saddles.
Todd Jays started crafting saddles from a young age with his uncle. In 2004, he set up his saddlery roots right here in San Angelo when he opened Jay's Saddlery.
Moved down here from Nebraska in '93, and I worked for my uncle for 12 years out there at his place, and then I went out on my own in 2004.
Todd says you can draw parallels between life and saddle making. Just as it's important to build a strong foundation in life, he says it's also important to start a saddle with that same strong foundation. He walks us through the saddle making process, starting with the trees they're made from.
There's two different kinds of trees that you can get. You can get a wood rawhide cover tree, and then you can get a fiberglass tree.
With tree selected, it's time to cut our leather. Jay says it takes 3/4 of a cow in order to make a saddle.
I can get a saddle cut out of basically a side and a half. So basically, take a cow, 3/4 of their skin, I can get a full saddle out of all of that.
At his shop, Jay's likes to use a 20-ton hydraulic clicker that can be compared to a heavy-duty cookie cutter. Although cutting with such a machine sounds easy, we learned that the most important part of cutting is strategically knowing what part of the animal to source your leather from.
I had an old saddle maker years and years ago. He said, Todd, if you ever go out in your business and go out on your own, cutting will either make or break you.
We decided to try by cutting an override strap that allows the stirrups to move freely.
Shoot, you're a professional.
Well, that was easy. I was waiting for
right.
With our materials ready for building, it's time to make our saddle. As we walk through the shop, Jay's tells us the story of his 10-year anniversary saddle, saying it took a total of 65 hours just to tool the flower design alone, and prices out at $10,000. We head to the flower tooling station where the personality of the saddle comes to life. This portion of the process is the most time-consuming, but makes the final product truly one of a kind.
If they want flower tooling, that's probably the longest step and everything.
Why does it take so long? Don't you have a machine that does it, or?
Oh no, it's all hand tooled. It's hand cut, hand designed. That's why it costs more to have a flower tool saddle, is because it's all hand cut.
As long as they are cared for properly, the longevity of these products will outlive the original owner and be passed on for generations.
Every year taking care of it, oiling it, conditioning it, replacing stuff that need to be replaced just from wear and tear and everything like that. So it's, if you spend the money on a custom saddle, it'll last you the rest of your life, and you can hand it down to your kids and grandkids and everything.
And with the final touches being placed on, we are now ready to ride. Reporting from Jay's Saddlery, I'm Nathan Mayer.